The biggest problem with the Pixel is the price, followed immediately by the giant chin, which if you saw my, giant complaint rant video about it, you know most of my problems with both of those things. But now it appears that the Pixel is going to be a major competitor with today's modern flagships, mostly being Apple and Samsung. Here's my wish list of how you can get me to respect the next generation of Pixel phones, or maybe even get a little excited. So again, price. If you're matching the price of the iPhones, which, I'm not even saying you should stop doing, that's okay. I'm just saying watch Samsung a little bit more and realize that when you match the price of an iPhone, you have to offer everything the iPhone does and more. And I'm not just talking software, because Android, you can do so much more that I get it, but that's not enough anymore, because nothing about Android is exclusive. Even the Google Assistant is coming to all other Android phones, so if you want people to buy the Pixel, it has to be about hardware coming first. So I'll go down the basic list of features 2017 smartphones all should have now. As in, if they don't, I'm considering it a dock, as in you're falling behind. Waterproofing, stereo speakers, and top-of-the-line specs. If you're the latest flagship phone out, you should be better spec'd than everyone else. So with Android, I don't know, use the better Snapdragon processor. You guys always talk about that. All I know is Pixel did not choose the fastest one. The iPhone 7 crushed the Pixel when it came to Geekbench scores, plus the Pixel came out after the iPhone, so just be up to date. I don't know if you'd need those specs or not, but make a fast phone. It's noticeably bad when I plug in headphones and it takes the phone 9 seconds to realize something's plugged in. That's a problem and it shouldn't happen. Just freshen up those specs. Something all Android phones used to be known for was their superior specs, but now Apple outdoes everyone and now everyone says, specs aren't really that important. I get it. Within the SIM tray, add a micro SD card slot like Samsung has. Android's all about options, so if we're going to let people decide if they want to store all their photos and videos on the device or in the Google Photos cloud, give them more than enough space. That way you never have to worry about that managed storage pop-up coming. And like the iPhone, if you're not going to have expandable storage, then at least provide storage internally that's going to be more than enough for most people. I had a 128 gigabyte iPhone 6 Plus. I did fill that up. It took a while, yes, but if you're competing with modern day flagships, you gotta match them with at least something. If you're not gonna have additional storage options like Samsung phones do, at least go to 256 like Apple does. Very, very hard to fill that up. Again, it happens, but it's pretty rare. In the spirit of providing options, the Pixel should have a more diverse lineup of phones. When you pay extra for the iPhone 7 Plus, you're getting quite an upgrade. Getting the better battery and a whole new secondary camera, the higher pixel density, and some reports even say the 7 Plus is a little faster. So when you get that iPhone increase in price, you get an increase in what you're getting out of the phone. But more importantly than just providing more options when you pay more, both Apple and Samsung have cheaper alternatives. Apple fans are really, really in love with the iPhone SE. People that didn't want to switch up from a 4-inch display. I get comments all the time about people wanting an SE refresh. That 4-inch market is still there and they're still very passionate. Since Pixel is so expensive, it would make sense to have a cheaper, skimmed down version. Maybe it's not even smaller. It just doesn't have the same specs. Maybe the pixel density isn't that high, but you just cater to a smaller price point so that more people don't have to spend a crazy amount to get your luxury smartphone. Next thing the Pixel 2, whatever it's going to be called, should have is optical image stabilization. That should be a given on flagship smartphones now. Very confident Samsung and Apple have been doing it for a couple years now, and Google's just like, no, digital's great. See, it's fine. No, it's not. This is something I've been expecting on like flagship stuff. It should just have that. At least put it on the XL and not the mini version. Next thing is, if you're going to compete with Apple and Samsung, you need to create your own equivalent wearable competitor. Designed by you, the Pixel team. Not LG, not Moto, just you. Apple designs all their software and hardware together, obviously, we all know that. Samsung could have made an Android Wear watch, but they didn't because they realized that Android Wear was inferior and it was not selling well. And most people would be like, Samsung, oh come on, be a team player, you don't know what you're doing. But they made their own operating system for their own smartwatch and it's selling very well. I see them in town quite a bit. I see S-Gear way more often than Android Wear. And in terms of best smartwatch sales, Apple's #1 and Samsung is quickly behind them. Android Wear is barely even a player anymore. It's just not that interesting. And with Android Wear 2.0, the sales aren't doing any better. Still kind of like, who cares about smartwatches? If you're gonna have a flagship in-house built phone, have a flagship in-house built smartwatch that shows off all the true potential of Android Wear 2.0, and even partner it with a little deal. You buy the phone, you get this much off the watch. There you go. Smartwatches are proving not to be a fad anymore. Android users keep seeming to say that smartwatches aren't really a thing, they're just Apple's one thing. But in the last quarter of 2016, 2016, so we're several years into the Apple Watch history now. Those last 3 months were the best quarter Apple has ever had in terms of Apple Watch sales, which means they're improving. People like them, and I definitely see them all over the place. Especially if you go to an airport, you will see them everywhere. People obviously have a demand for it, so Google, you need to meet that demand. And your third-party hardware developers for Android Wear aren't cutting it. People aren't getting excited. The last thing is something unique. Obviously, I'd like to see you do something different with that chin. I'd like to see edge-to-edge displays or etched-in nav buttons, but something. This is my wild card wish list. Do something that not any other phone does. Don't just do one thing better than everyone else, or claim to do it better, like the camera. Shut up. Actually have something unique that you can't do on other phones. Samsung has these kinds of features. Apple has these kinds of features. They have originality to both of them. Pixel just kind of has a couple things other phones have done in the past. Nothing that unique or original to it. That's the problem with Android, is that you try to make things available to everyone, which means you get nothing exclusive with one phone. So that's how you get me excited for the Pixel 2. What would you like to see changed in the Pixel 2? Let me know in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.